Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in alongside Jan. Jan from New York City Saves Money is alongside with me. And what we wanted to talk about is I have been noticing in the grocery store, especially the last couple, maybe three trips that I've done, I have noticed the price of food on some items. Well, actually, I should say quite a few items jump. Jan, have you yourself noticed any, uh, huge jump in items of food since the last, say, few months,
Sure.
maybe a year?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely. Hi, Steve. Hi,
I
everybody. Thanks so much for having me here. How's everybody
mhm.
doing this afternoon? And in answer to Steve's question, the answer I have actually maybe a two to threefold answer on it. One, yes, I have noticed price changes, and the good news is that I get to scour the prices ahead of time online. Which, by the way, I hope that everybody's doing that. Look online first. You have that opportunity. And the other added problem is some of my friends bring information to my attention and they literally send me like pictures of things that like make my hair stand up. And I just had an incident like that, just very incident like that yesterday. And the source is a reliable source. So it's like, what? And then plus thirdly, the third fold part of the answer is it depends on your region. And even in the city of New York, it could be variated from borough to borough, some price changes and variation. So it's not. I wish it was like easier for me to give you a cut and dry answer. The best thing that I could say is keep your eyes peeled, look online first, and pay attention. And yes, there are differences amongst different states and different locations within cities and states. Do you find that by you too, Steve?
Yeah, I have noticed a price difference. For example, this is one particular item that I do like. I do like Progresso soup. It is one of the better, canned soups that you can buy. And I used to be able to get it for about $1.58, maybe $1.60 a can. Well, that's no more. That's up around 235, 240 now. So it's jumped almost a whole dollar.
That's a
S-
lot.
Yeah, so what I have to do is I've got to go and look at an alternative soup. Sometimes I can find like the Campbell's Chunky, which is not a bad variation, or let's see, what other one? I do like the healthy choice varieties. Sometimes are good. Marie Calendar. So what I tend to do is I look to see what might go on sale, and I'll just work around the Progresso. If you don't want to go that route, the next best thing would be to just make your own soup from scratch. That's probably your cheapest bet.
You're not kidding. Absolutely, that is the cheapest route to go. And plus that, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yes.
I love Progresso soup. I mean, there's no question their lentil soup is the next best thing to homemade. It is so similar to the flavor of homemade, but while it's convenient and it's great to keep in your pantry, especially for unexpected company or whatever, an ice cold day or you're not feeling well, if you're able to replicate that lentil soup and just find a really good actually I believe I have a video on that somewhere in my video pile up about how to make that from scratch. But if not, you all you have to do is read the back of the lentil bags that you could find like in the grocery, like the lentils from Goya, for example. It will give you the dried lentils. It'll give you the exact recipe on the back. It pays to read those. You're right, though. You would be slashing your bill a lot by making it.
Well, in the lentil world, I do believe I'm thinking it's been a pretty good while. I have done a lentil recipe, but I think I gave two different variations. You can use my mom's recipe, which is really good, using a
Yum.
potato and Roma tomato. You can go that route, or if you've got some spaghetti sauce already made up, if not that, a can of, or a bottle of jarred, if you wanted to go that route.
Wow.
You could put together the lentils, the olive oil, about 2 or 3 tablespoons of sauce, and then you just cook it as such. Add your water if you need it, a little bit of olive oil, because I do like to cook it as I go along. I like to add a little bit of olive oil as I go, and then right on the very end, I add a little more because
Right.
I do like the flavor of olive oil when I eat my lentils.
Oh my
So
gosh, so good.
that, but I have had the Progresso uh, canned. It's not bad, although I like to doctor it up whenever I do it.
Absolutely. And what I would do is a shortcut. This is an aside. If you have a handful of rice, you make your own rice very easily and just throw it into that existing lentil soup, or you could do it all from scratch. And that really, literally stretches the soup. You know, Steve, you brought up two product ingredients that we have to keep an eye out on, literally, because it came to my attention from reliable sources. Okay. That there may be questionable increase in the price of any tomato based product. So, everybody, keep your eyes peeled and heads up for that. Stock up and save now while you still have a fighting chance, because I see down the road, not far down the road, with winter approaching, we're almost literally officially into the fall season. In my opinion, those prices, will be going up. But based on reliable sources, it seems almost practically a certainty. So keep an eye out definitely on the tomatoes. And Steve, can I share a situation that came to my attention just yesterday by a reliable source?
Hmm.
Well, I received a message in my, message contacts from a friend, and that person screenshotted. Now, you never know when you go to websites if something's actual or not, but this person is reliable, so I totally trust the information I received. It was like almost as if they're discouraging certain people from be careful online shoppers with this, because there's a big, well-known store begins with a W that might be price gouging on a specific item. So keep your eyes peeled on that buttery nonstick spray flavor.
Hmm.
Like, okay, and we really need to address, one price was like, at a reasonable price without giving a number, and the other number was just, really, like, let's just say insanely, let's say almost about 3 to 4 times higher, if that's actually the case. But forgetting the numbers, Steve, we need to talk about alternative routes. What would happen if we didn't have nonstick spray? But when I was a kid, Steve, there was no such thing as nonstick cooking spray till I was about, I think, till I hit about maybe my late teens. This is from my recollection. I could be wrong. Maybe it was out sooner and I never noticed.
Hmm.
But I mean, what did we do? What did the folks do back then? Why don't you guys mention in the comments section below? What would you do if you didn't have the ability to use your nonstick cooking spray? What alternative route would you take?
Well, I know I've got a couple of routes that I use. I and a lot of people already know this. And the matter of fact, there is one subscriber. They know who they are. I don't want to call them out by name, but this person and I have spoken off YouTube, by phone. And this person also likes to use the Pompeian Robust extra virgin olive oil. And I'll take about the size of a $half in a skillet, or about a quarter to a $half, and I'll just roll that around, let the heat take it, and I'll, get coat the bottom of the pan. So that's one method that I use to cook anything, especially my eggs or something like that. I'll
That's
use.
good.
I have been known to use butter by itself. Now, butter, I pay a little bit more up front, but I get a lot of use out of it as I go. And one of the butters I like to purchase is called Kerrygold. It's an Irish butter,
Mm,
and it's a very good quality. I use half of, say, what I would use of Land O'Lakes or any other brand,
yum.
so it actually goes twice, maybe 3 times as far.
No, I agree with you there. If you're going to get the good stuff, you don't even need to use a lot more. Ever notice that good quality stuff, you find yourself not needing that much of it because the flavor, the quality of the flavor is so good, you actually need less and it sort of balances out. The other shocking thing, the same reliable source showed me, I couldn't believe it that where she lives in another state, not New York, that her store name butter was $6.99 a pound. This is as of yesterday. $6.99 a pound versus the brand national brand name at $5.99 a pound. Now, here's where the price will and should come down a lot on butter. Traditionally, during the month of November, because we have the baking season, we have the holiday season, that is when you stock up on things like butter. That is when we stock up or should stock up more on canned goods. So we're kind of like around the corner from that. If we don't take advantage of those sales and start planning that right now for our stockpiles, then we're missing out because the prices, like on, for example, soup, I could see the prices are going to get insane in December and January.
Yeah, so I happen to be glancing at I'm at the Walmart website and great value sweet cream salted or unsalted, whichever you like. 16 ounces is 3.98, which is not hellaciously high,
No, that's
but
pretty good.
right. Whereas if you don't want to go that route, you could go great value spreadable butter with canola, which is what you could put on bread or and it's 3.98 for 15 ounces. Now to look at what I like to use, let's go over here for a minute. Now 3.98. Now let's do a little bit of math here because this is pretty interesting. Let's see, Kerrygold. All right. So I realized that half of what that great value is, 8 ounces, 2 sticks of Kerrygold is 4.18. But think about something that goes triple the distance, say the Great Value or even Land O'Lakes, because I've tried both and I've done like an ABC comparison of
Yeah,
the butter, and I've gotten a lot more longevity out of the Kerrygold. So in actuality, even though I pay 4.18, if I use it three times as long, I'm only paying, well, let me see here, 8 ounces. So let's do 8. So I'm actually paying, I would say, a good half as much or a little less for the Kerrygold than I would be for Land O'Lakes, which I haven't priced that one. I just did a great value check. But I would get, that's what I look for. I look for longevity. If I can get a lot of use out of something, pay more money a little bit up front to get the better product, I will.
exactly.
The budget may not be on the front, but what you get from it is where the value comes in. People don't seem to look at it from that angle, which they should.
I agree. And that's where an open mind comes in to be receptive to that possibility. You know what else is shocking? Don't think because, oh, if I spend money on margarine, I'm automatically going to get a great price. I could not believe recently the prices of margarines. Now, don't get me wrong. There's margarines and there's spreads. It's been like so subdivided since margarine was invented. Okay, margarine, we don't push the idea of utilizing margarine because of certain reasons that we don't want to get into at the moment, but don't think you're necessarily always getting a bargain on margarine. There was a time, I couldn't believe it, Steve. Some of the prices of currently of margarine are almost comparable to real butter. Now, don't get me wrong, margarine has its merit when you want to grease a pan because the high temperature point and like save all those wrappers and this and that. But if you're going to be just a dollar difference, ask yourself, would I really prefer to have natural butter, which is simply cream and salt? So, how natural can you get?
Hmm.
Cream and salt, end of subject. No things with all these strange names, your scientific lab experiment thing. No. For a dollar difference, think of how we throw money away on other stupidities like extra bags of chips that may not necessarily be the best thing. You could buy potato and just cut it up, throw it in your air fryer. There goes your chips. I mean, really.
Well, here, for example, like I'm going to do a comparison just on what you said. Here is a 16-ounce pack, 4 sticks of I can't believe it's not butter. and it's $3.98. You come back over here to the great value butter, like I spoke about a minute ago, 16-ounce, 4 sticks, same price.
Bingo.
Now, I can't believe it's not butter. That's actually a margarine. People don't know that.
Wow.
It's because it's not because it says baking sticks. It's not. I mean, I've used it in the past, but when like you say, we're not going to get into it. There is, and I myself do not prefer margarine. I mean, I have nothing against it, but when I did the research and I found out a little bit of detail about what it's about, I'm like, well, do I really want that in my system? So that kind of,
Exactly. And it's like if it's pretty much the same price and like the opportunity is going to come out fairly soon to watch the prices of butter should be going down like in the not so distant future and you could stock up and freeze them because butter
yeah.
works great frozen.
Oh, it does. Yeah. So again, but don't get me wrong. I mean, it really depends. Like I'm looking at another. Okay, you bet we Imperial margarine. We all know the brand. Here is
One
a
of the best.
right. If you're going to use margarine, here's a 15-ounce tub of Imperial for 243. But do you want margarine, or would you rather pay $1.50 more and get real butter?
Steve, I have a question about that tub. Does it say margarine or margarine spread?
Let me see. I might have to zoom in.
The reason I asked that is because I believe the sticks are the authentically 100% corn oil type margarine. Then they got the spreads, which is like margarine plus some other component, which changes that again for the third time around. So these are all. Here's what we need to think of: alternative ways to cook without necessarily needing so much grease, but or getting cheaper grease. Now, a lot of people, a lot of our listeners, Steve, and viewers, they collect their bacon fat. I mean I know people who routinely they collect whatever grease is left from the baking fat, bacon fat, and they utilize it as a flavorful flavoring agent. Let's say if they make potatoes and onions like for breakfast, potatoes, onions, pepper, they throw in some of that bacon fat in there, and it adds that little bit of smoky
Yes, it
flavor.
does. Yes.
Yeah, so that could be utilized as as a flavoring agent, or some people buy that. Oh, what do you call that white fat? It's escaping me. You know the one I mean.
Crisco?
Yeah, like Crisco type. Some
Crisco?
people do
Yeah.
that too. So there are alternate ways, but I'm telling you, if you could get actual real butter on sale, go for it.
Well, what I'm reading here on the Imperial tub down below, what it tells me is it says 28% vegetable oil spread.
That's interesting. It makes me wonder what is the remainder of the percentage.
That's what I want to know because I'm going back here to the ingredients. It says purified water, soybean oil, palm kernel and palm oil, salt, lecithin, mono and diglycerides, vinegar, natural and artificial flavor, vitamin A, palmitate, beta carotene for color.
Does
So
this not sound like a science lab to you?
that's what it is. Yeah, but
Yeah.
remember now that's I have nothing personal against um, margarine in general, but from when I did the research on it, and I'm like, and somebody told me that's how I found out about it in the beginning. I'm like, well, I need to back this information up. So I went online, typed it in. What does margarine consist of? So I went into detail and I started reading. The person was right.
Wow.
So, well, you said the imperial stick. All right, the imperial stick says 53% vegetable oil spread. So you're getting a purer
Yeah.
product with the stick versus the tub.
Yes.
But get a load of this. The 4 sticks of imperial spread is only $1.48.
Right, because imperial spread, I think, is not to be confused with the original. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. Look it up, guys. Remember, this is my opinion. I'm not looking at it. But just like when I go over it, when I'm looking at my shopping and I say, why is this saying Imperial and this other thing saying spread or whatever it is? I said, there's some difference amongst it. And I would imagine one is not going to be as great for to keep for greasing your pan, which was original basis of this at all, because those sprays, those non-stick sprays, life without non-stick spray. What would you guys do? I could offer a couple of suggestions. Make more boiled meals is one. If you're putting a roast in the oven, literally, you just if you have some little bit of if you need a little bit of water in your pan, or like a drop of butter, or a very very little drop of your margarine, and grease around if it's needed at all. These are the ways you could work around it, or just forego the grease part at all, but and just maybe line your pan with I don't know, something like maybe aluminum foil to not have it stick to your actual pan. I don't know. These are just ideas. We're relying on you guys. You guys are very creative.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've because I do like to cook, and I've been doing it for a pretty good while, probably since I was about 12 or 13, I think is when I really, because me and my mom were pretty close, so I definitely hung out in the kitchen with her.
Yeah,
So what I learned is from her. So I do have alternatives. Like I said, I do the olive oil. I've got the butter. The butter and olive oil together is good. That's also good over vegetables if you've never had it.
right.
Um, so yeah, there are ways around the water. Like I say, you if you have to have water, but you're trying to conserve water, I'm sure there's, like you say, there's ways around that.
Look what I
Um,
do with my lemon chicken or chicken franchise. You have this option too. Just put a little bit of the oil that you have on hand, because remember, we're keeping our costs down. Don't go out to the store and buy more if you don't need to do that. Use what you have. A very little bit, one turn of the pan of the oil, and a pat or two of real butter. And what you do is you put that on a low flame and let it create its own little sauce there. You throw it in your boneless breasts of chicken, and you can use lemon pepper, and or if you're doing a franchise, it's like that egg batter mixture that you put together,
mhm.
and it is so amazing. And like you simmer it, and voila, there you go. You don't need a ton of anything. It's really quite tender and delicious.
No, both of those dishes that you just mentioned, I do like lemon pepper chicken and the chicken franchise. I've had both, and they're just out of this world.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah. So we want to know because, like I said, I have my alternatives. You have yours. I like some of the ones you mentioned actually. So
and you
we want,
too.
yeah. So we want to know from you guys, what do you do? Because there are times we have to go alternative routes
Yeah,
because
and
things,
it's looking like it's heading that way, Steve. You're on the right track with that.
yeah, because if it was not because of my folks, my mom being from the silent generation, she's born 1938. So, she grew up in, from my grandmother, those times. So she knows a lot of the old, not just old school, but the very old school methods. You too. So
Yes.
we have methods to fall back on. We know how to cope. We know how to survive.
We do, and we'll get through this too. I mean, it is my hope that things get a little better one day. But we do have to be open and minded enough to know we might have to change a few things here or there to
That's
cope
right.
better.
Yeah. So, bottom line, when you go shopping, like I say, definitely do your homework, look at your prices, price per ounce, which one gives you the better deal. Do you always have to buy the name brand? No, but it always never hurts to pick up the name brand, store brand, what have you, generic, and compare ingredients and see what the difference is. Why? You're going to find out a lot of the time there's no need to pay the extra dollar to $2 to get the other one. You know, you're a lot of the time it can be the same product.
And especially today, Steve, the information is readily available. When I think about when I was a kid, like say my mom and dad, they would rely on the circular that was maybe stuck inside of the local newspaper
Hmm.
or left at the doorstep once a week. And that was it. There was no let me check online ahead of time. For
Oh
us
no,
today, right? For us today to not be empowered with the information is silly. It's just ridiculous.
that's right. And I'm still in the old school way because if we wanted coupons, we had to wait for the Sunday paper.
Right.
And that's where all your coupons were, any sales that were going on at the store, because every department store, grocery store flyer, brochure, circular would be in the Sunday paper. That's why you paid more money for it. But now it's tap, tap, tap. Plus, you have that app I've spoken about, the Flip, FLIPP.
Yeah.
You do that. You put in your zip code. You go down the list and find what stores you go to, and it's giving you weekly ads for that store. You can look at all of them individually one by one.
That Flip app is like really a miracle. It's just so amazing. And it's at the touch of your hand. If you're listening to us on your smartphone, you could certainly check out the Flip app. Totally for free, guys.
Oh, absolutely. So definitely check that out. And I like the fact, where I picked up from that. And I use it because I do, like I said, I've got Walmart around here. I've got Publix. I've got Winn Dixie, and I've got Harvey's, which is an offspring of Winn Dixie. And I can put in all these flyers in the Flip, and it's all right there, one by one, listed by category. So, all right. Well, Jan, this was a nice get together. We had a good
Yeah,
topic. I like because we really need to get this information out to everybody. It's
I agree.
important, because this is not the first inflation we've dealt with. We've had many others in the past. So,
Absolutely.
we're not beginners at this. We know the drill. We know what's up. We know what we got to do. And I'm pretty sure same goes for the subscribers, but you definitely have to watch and know your alternatives, other methods. Like I say, and I'll leave with this right here. Um, yes, when it comes to milk, I like milk. I can't drink a gallon, it'll go bad. Half a gallon, I won't do a half a gallon unless I'm doing like a banana pudding or something, then I'll buy that. But if I'm going to use it for drinking purposes, I'll do I've come to find out the Dollar Tree Parmalat method 125. If I don't go that route, do your math. Non fat dry milk. That's very old school. That's another method you could use. And that you could actually do by the glass. You could actually control how much you drink there. So,
All right, Steve.
okay.
Hang on one moment, Steve.
All
Don't
right.
go away. Don't go away.
Okay.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Steve, please, I'm reminding the folks, you got any value from this video? Slam down the like button for Steve. It helps in his algorithm, just like when you're on my channel, it helps on my algorithm. And don't hesitate to share this podcast style show.
Absolutely. So, what I'm going to do, like I say, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. This has been a good segment, and I hope, this has been of a lot of help to all of you guys. So, we definitely have to stick together and watch our pennies. Look at the store brand versus the name brand. Look at your ounces, look at your price, definitely like the cereal thing. You can buy two 18-ounce boxes for 8.50 whatever it was. I don't remember it was, but anyway, you got more value out of the two $4.28 box, two of those versus the one giant size, which was like 28 or 30 ounces for $11. And I think, oh, that's what it was. And the two 36 ounce, 18 ounces per box. It was, and you put about $2.50 back in your hand. So you definitely got to do your math. Take a calculator with you when you go shopping, and that never hurts. So
No, it never does. And if you don't have a separate like calculator, you have one on into built into your phone.
to your phone, yeah, that was a, you took the words out of my mouth. We were ahead of that. I was going about to
Sorry
mention that.
about that.
No, no, no. That just means that our ESP is on the same, which is good.
There you
But
go.
right, uh, I mean, I don't know of any smartphone that does not have a calculator built in. I really don't. So, everything is right there at your fingertips now these days. It wasn't like that before, but now it is. So, all right. Well, Jan, this was good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. One of the reasons I come on the show is I cannot wait to hear that beautiful music that you have that concludes and begins your show.
Oh, well, I can do that right now.
Okay.
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and say our goodbye now if you want, and then I'll just go ahead and put that on because I know some of the subscribers like it too.
Thanks, guys. Take care. We're going to hear this song. Love it.
All right.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody. Bye.